Listen, to any and all the people who drove to college and never once lived on campus, how did you do it? I'm not talking about a 10 or 20-minute drive. I mean driving anywhere between 2 or 4 hours round trip. For real, let us know in the comments below before getting into this video. I think our friends in the audience who want to avoid rent could use some tips or advice. In the meantime, I'll be talking about how and why I failed as a commuter, mistakes I made when I lived near campus, and general tips and advice for both sides. But first, let's get into the burnout of commuting. I began at the start of the fall semester in 2021, and in 1 year's time, by fall semester 2022, I straight up was not doing my homework. And it was showing in my grades and my first few exams after 4 weeks. Why? Too much overload. 4 classes, all in person, Monday to Thursday, all filled to the brim with homework, 2-hour car ride, round trip, spending 12 to 14 hours on campus, going to the gym regularly, working 8 hours on Friday, 10 on Saturdays, and 7 on Sundays. You get the point. I had too much on my plate, all the while trying to balance a relationship at the same time. Not good times. So what would I have changed to make commuting more successful? Starting with class load, I'd take a maximum of 3 classes per semester. In-person classes to be specific. My accounting classes for my degree weren't offered online. As nice as that would have been, I am not the best at online learning anyways. I may as well just signed up for an online school if I did excel at learning that way. 1 class online is fine, but that's it. I'd also keep working only on Fridays and Saturdays, no weekday shifts though. I still had to cover some expenses and tuition, assuming I followed my own advice from the first video, but I'd draw a line to protect my energy. I would never spend the entire day on campus again. I used to hang out in the library or cafeteria between classes thinking I was being productive. I was never really resting though. I was putting the work in, but the quality over time was dropping, and I pretty much was not learning at that point. Campus is not home. Even if you're sitting still, it doesn't always recharge you. So I'd structure my day to be only on campus for 4 to 5 hours max, taking into consideration student organization meetings, recruiter events, or friends to hang out with. Then I'd just head home. That's the commuter recipe that would have worked better for me. Manageable class load for my pace, limited time on campus, smart sacrifices, less driving, and a schedule I could actually stick to. Ideally, I dedicate around 30 hours per week to class, homework, driving, and on-campus time. I work about 16 hours on weekends. Then rest when I can and use whatever's left for life outside school. Although on paper it sounds great, there would still need to be some sort of trade-offs. If I had to play a game of start, bench, or cut, and if those of you who aren't sports fans, that pretty much means what I would prioritize, limit, and just straight up cut, I would start volunteering, bench the gym, and cut my relationship. Not to be cold, but in hindsight, my relationship was quite a bit of a distraction academically for me. Volunteering helped my social skills and social confidence, so I'd keep doing it, even if it was just occasionally. And I'd keep workouts to an hour max. Lift, eat well, and maybe play pickup, basketball, or soccer for fun. But yeah, I was spending way too much time in the gym during college. If you're planning to commute, time is everything. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. College is not a passive journey. There is still the factor of putting in the work regardless of how close or far you live near school. There are eventually going to be levels of sacrifice throughout the journey. But one item you don't want to be sacrificed though is your car. I won't go too deep into the car stuff again, but here's some basic car stuff every commuter should know or always have in their trunk. You should know how to change a tire. Always keep jumper cables in your trunk. Check your oil dipstick and mileage for when it's time to change your oil. Know how to refill your radiator reservoir. Pump air in your tires regularly and recognize when they're low. And then finally, a little familiarity with the battery, specifically how to take it off and put it back, or fix small issues like corrosion around the terminal. Little things like that can save you from getting stranded or wasting money. All right, let's flip to the other side of commuter life, living near campus. More likely than not, if you go this route, you'll have roommates. And roommates can be hit or miss. Now, to be honest, the reason I wasn't super warm with mine had nothing to do with them. It was a giant me problem. Why? First, I was in an unhappy relationship and had a bad case of sunk cost fallacy. I was frustrated, stuck, and I ended up projecting that stress onto everyone else. Even when I wasn't grumpy, I just wasn't around much either. And when I was, I stayed in my room and kept to myself. And in a customer service job, a ton of classwork, and a deteriorating relationship, I was burnt out. And when you're that burnt out, you start getting territorial. In my mind, I was doing all this work, putting in all this effort, and getting nothing in return. Meanwhile, my roommates had lighter schedules and different lives, and instead of respecting that, I let that resentment creep in. Of course, that's not fair to them. That was all projection, and what I really needed back then, I just needed to talk to a therapist and not take it out on people I barely knew. I'm laughing, but I do feel bad. It's just wild looking back how long I stayed in that relationship as I did. But to flip back on a more serious note, what I feel worst about is probably missing out on something great. My roommates were genuine and friendly people. It might have been a case of right place, wrong time. Were they perfect? No, they had their flaws that were annoying, even if I wasn't burnt out. The resentment I was holding didn't match how small those annoyances were. If you're living near campus and have roommates, just communicate. You don't have to be friends, but when people live together and don't talk, things get awkward and tense fast. And say what's on your mind. Grab lunch together here or there. Above all, stay respectful, especially if they're giving you the same energy back. People respect honesty. It helps prevent misunderstandings from turning into problems. And if things really aren't working, move out. Find new roommates through campus organizations, in class, family, friends, wherever. Either way, let's be real. Paying rent sucks, unless the price is zero. But personally, I will always say it was worth it. That little luxury tax to live near campus, it was worth it, even with the trade-offs. Yeah, I had to work more hours to keep up, but what I got in return was a place to focus and relax when I could. Finally, a few other things if I had to live on campus all over again. First, I'd leave customer service as soon as I could. Retail will burn your soul. I say that with all due respect. I would try to find a local accounting firm instead, like a little mom and pop shop, something that aligned with my major and paid just as good as retail or perhaps even better. I'd also take my time with my bachelor's. I have a video going into more detail about this, but it's funny how the whole rush for me was to graduate fast, get a job, and take care of myself. But by junior year, I was already doing that. Finally, I'd keep riding my bike to class. That bike saved me so much gas money my first 2 years. It took me only 10 minutes to get to class, to the library, and back to my apartment. Forever grateful for that thing. So again, to the young guy watching this video, start thinking to yourself about what you have time for after class. Can you really manage class, work, homework, commute, the gym, and a social life? Something may need to be cut, even something you enjoy. That's not failure, that's just being an adult. What's your budget? Is rent realistic? Can you afford utilities, groceries, gas, and everything else on top of tuition? What's the condition of your car? Is it all reliable or a rolling liability? Can it handle 30 to 60 miles a day, 3 to 5 days a week, for 16 weeks straight? Another question for those of you who want to live near school. Will this setup protect my peace or drain it? Is living near campus going to help me focus, or is a commuter life a better option for my personality and goals? Whatever you choose, just make sure it's not based on what sounds cool or what other people are doing. Make the call based on your life, your limits, and your goals. Just because I struggle as a commuter doesn't mean you will. Our lives, responsibilities, and energy levels are all different. Yes, I am an advocate for living near campus, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. Just like commuting, it has downsides too. At the end of the day, it's just driving a car or living in a box. And if what you pick doesn't work out, that's fine. Pivot, adjust. The goal is progress, not perfection. It's not a tattoo. You're not stuck with it forever. Whether you're driving 60 minutes a day or living right next to the library, the goal is the same. Don't burn out, don't give up, and finish strong. But let me know what you guys think. Freshmen, what questions are on your mind right now? Drop them in the comments. Grads who live near campus, what's your best piece of advice? Grads who commuted all the way through, what do you wish someone told you? I got more videos in the series coming up. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.